Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're talking about the one and only turbo coin, ladies and gentlemen, right? Crazy, crazy times in the markets, not just for turbo, but I mean just globally, right? Um, Globally, it has been crazy. I mean, we can even see on the right, you know, tariff tariffs this, tariffs that, China, market this, market that. All the different types of markets have been going crazy. And you know what? Turbo actually has been holding pretty well. In fact, in general, even something like Bitcoin has been holding decently. Now, of course, it's not the most wow, it's not the most this or that, but we're still at 80K at the end of the day. Yes, I know we have dropped off in price. Of course, it was to be expected after the price action we saw last week, right? With the daily closes. This daily close was absolutely horrible. So that was that. We did sweep liquidity. We are bouncing back a little bit, but it is not looking that promising just yet necessarily. We talked about how it could very well retrace off the 81, 82K mark, or have a wick higher up to 86K and having a very aggressive close, right? So this is important because Bitcoin is the head of the snake. But look, generally though, compared to the rest of the world, we are actually doing kind of okay, to be honest. The markets have been going crazy. Something like gold, right? Gold has died down a lot over the last couple of days, going down hundreds of dollars. And Turbo, yes, Turbo did go down a decent amount, but you gotta remember this is a meme coin, right? This is a meme coin. This coin should not even be holding its own compared to the different markets, right? Compared to, Bitcoin, compared to gold, compared to, this currency, or this exchange, or this or that. Like, it really shouldn't, right? But the thing is, honestly, it's been pretty decent. Now, of course, it's still down a lot because, if Bitcoin goes down and then Bitcoin dominance also goes up at the same time, which we have seen, right? Bitcoin dominance is pretty much reaching our last relevant top, right? Which we could actually see a little bit of a sell off if we come to this area. So, people might think altcoins are back in action, but to be honest, if we do get a bigger pullback, it is just because we will be continuing to go higher, right? So, look, generally, Turbo itself, is coming to some of its final destinations in terms of buying opportunities, right? We're talking about this weekly top right over here, right? We have the weekly candle closes right here. We have touched this price point multiple times. That doesn't necessarily mean we're automatically going to be bouncing off this area, but this could be a great starting point to start buying in, dollar cost averaging, or whatever your plan is if you still believe in Turbo. If you want to look at order blocks, we do have this order block over here, this monthly one, which, we shouldn't go lower than this. Obviously, if we go back all the way down here, then we would be literally at very, very, very bad market cap, which means would also probably be like a 50 or 40K Bitcoin, which means the market is officially over. I know some people think we are in bear season territory, but the reality is we're really not. I mean, altcoins have suffered a lot, but guys, you have to realize the Bitcoin dominance is and will always be the main factor, right? Until this does what it has to do, which is most likely go to roughly 70% and then have a huge break the way it kind of broke over here, and then go sideways for a couple of weeks and then slam down, right? This whole thing of us slamming down, going sideways, and then going down a lot in terms of percentage, that is the moment we are all waiting for. Okay, that is the moment. But huge, huge, huge but, right? You have to realize that that takes time. A lot of people bought in somewhere here, 2023, 2024, then people bought in somewhere in 2024. Some people bought here in terms of dominance. So they've been waiting months, if not over a year, and they're still going to be waiting probably a couple more weeks, if not a few short months before everything plays out But look, we are still on track. If Bitcoin dominance was heading down, Bitcoin was heading down, and there was no signs of any reversals or anything, then I would be concerned for a coin like Turbo. Of course, Turbo is down a lot. A lot of people are down, but the reality is, we should recover to break evens. Worst case scenario when it comes to the altcoin season, right? I believe there will be a few winners when it comes to meme coins. I believe Turbo will be one of them. Some people think it will hit $1 or 70 cents. I don't necessarily agree with that. It would have to require lots of money and bandwagon and support and even a little bit of luck for us to even hit it, okay? To hit that kind of range. 10 billion market cap sounds kind of crazy, which is technically 100x from here. I could see that being very, very possible. It's crazy that even here we have some comparisons to, Pepe, because that's, if we got the 10 billion market cap, that's kind of where Pepe peaked, right? Pepe peaked actually a little bit higher. So if we took Pepe's previous peak going from 100 million to 10 billion market cap, I don't think that's very, unrealistic, right? We have great volume and I expect even better volume. I mean, we have 50 million volume for roughly 100 million market cap, right? So imagine what's going to happen when Ethereum is going to be on our side, because you guys have to realize Ethereum has been poo. Yes, I understand the overall the global markets and crypto and everything is down, but you got to remember something like Solana did much better than Ethereum. XRP, Cardano, like some of these bigger coins, they still performed and outperformed Ethereum. Ethereum has been pretty much the weakest top 10 coin, which is very, very sad. But I do believe Ethereum will have its time. Okay. I genuinely do believe we will at least create, worst case scenario, sweep this double top, because this is literally a trap right here, right? This is literally a trap. But I do believe worst case scenario, we will create new highs, probably going up to like 5.5, 6K. So Bitcoin pumping, Bitcoin dominance dropping, Ethereum going up, the money going down to Turbo eventually. Turbo still being one of the top meme coins. I believe in this coin. I'm not just saying this just to say this. If there was something very suspicious about this coin, if there's something this about this coin, if there's something that bad about this coin, I would say it, right? I would say it. I've said about other coins, I personally hold no loyalty to no coin. That is the reality, okay? I hold zero loyalty because I plan on selling all these coins and you should too. I understand we want our coin specifically to perform, and I know some of you are all in on Turbo. Some of you have 50% portfolio. Some of you have like 30%. I understand you need this to hit. Okay. And I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for us. And I'm rooting for everyone in general in the crypto space, because there's more than enough money for all of us little guys to win. Okay. Yes, even if you have like $1 million in crypto, you're still technically considered a little guy. So people that are, like us, that have a couple $100, couple thousand, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands, right? I want us to succeed the most, which is why I create daily content. Okay. I believe Turbo will succeed. One last thing before we end off, we have been dropping in holders a little bit, but you got to realize it's been the craziest times ever in terms of the market, and we really haven't dropped that much. Like whatever, we dropped 20 holders across a couple of days, across a week, a couple of days during the craziest time ever. Not really concerning, people. Not really concerning. But yeah, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. In terms of the Turbo price action itself, I do expect things to be a little bit better. Of course, we don't have real confirmation of anything yet. We practically have retested off of these areas over here, these lows here, and we most likely will be pushing down a little bit lower. And we have to see a break of structure and a momentum shift for everything to turn around, or for me to be like, okay, this is potentially started a reversal. I need to see signs, because at the current moment we are just doing simple fundamentals of creating consistently lower lows and lower highs. Okay, it's very, very simple. We are just creating a staircase downwards. Nothing I can do. I wish I could turn it around. I wish I could make this coin go 1,000x for all of us, but the reality is I have zero control over these markets. That is, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.